It's a beautiful Friday, so once again, let's jump into yet again another Transformer Slag podcast Patreon listener question. And if you want to be part of the Transformer Slag podcast, help support the podcast, let us know we're doing a good job here on the daily Transformer news and cool content and stuff that you could learn about your hobby. Patreon.com/Protoman, or check the pinned comment or the description below. So what do you get if you join the Patreon? Where you get your name in the end credit scroll at the end of every segment moving forward from your patronage, as well as access to the exclusive Transformer Slag podcast Discord, where we have cool hangouts, we talk about Transformers, we break the news there, as well as you get access to deals, make your hobby cheaper, buy stuff on special, don't pay full price for your Transformers when you could get it cheaper, as well as rare Transformer content and lore to download, and of course, just cool conversations about the robots in disguise. You also, depending on certain tiers, you could also get some cool prizes in the mail, little presents here and there, or, depending on the tier, be part of the Patreon listener question. We have a Patreon listener question here today from Ivan Barrias. And of course, Ivan wants to know, one of our longtime patrons here, "Hey Protoman, I have a question that maybe you can break down. Do you think that they will make more manga volumes of the Transformers the Manga by Viz Media? I have volumes 1 to 3. I moved recently and I started to unbox them, and now they're on my mind. Will there ever be a volume 4? Thanks for the great content, Proto." Ivan. So, for people that aren't aware, essentially the mangas that he's referring to are the Viz Media mangas that were released, I want to say it was about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. The big V kind of screws up my timelines right now. They came out a few years ago, and they essentially cover the Ban Megami Matsume Kaneda Volume 1, 2, and 3, cover all of the Generation 1 stuff between those two guys. And that's like 1985 up until about, I want to say, like 1991, 1992. And that was all stuff that was featured in TV Magazine, and they were these manga stories pretty much covering an alternate telling of the Japanese Generation 1 timeline, Generation 1 Season 1, 2, 3, Transformers 2010, some of the movie stuff, Headmasters, Master Force, Victory, Zone, Operation Combination, Battle Stars, all the mangas, the story pages, and everything. These were originally collected by Million Publishing into a thick phone book kind of style with more newsprint kind of pages. And I own that one too. It's pretty cool. But now we have it in English. It's done by Viz Media, and they were separated across 3 volumes instead of a big phone book sized one. And the Viz Media version included a whole bunch of extras and color gloss pages, and it's a hardcover book this time around as opposed to a soft cover that the Japanese one was. So it's just an amazing buy. And just to kind of even pimp it, like on Amazon right now, volumes 1 and 3 are on special. So you could even get them cheaper now too. So little pimping there for them too. So the question is would there be a volume 4? Like, where do you go from essentially after the finishing of the Ban Megami Generation 1 stuff, ending with Operation Combination in 1992? Well, that's where it gets kind of dicey, because you go, okay, so the company that Viz Media pretty much licenses all these mangas from is Kodasha, which is, they own the licensing to all the TV Magazine, TV Kun, and Comic Bon mangas, which is all the stuff that the Transformer stuff comes from. So what else do they have in their library that potentially Viz could pull from? Well, they have the Mystery of Convoy one-shot video game manga story. They got the Transformers Full Throttle Scramble Power story. They got the G2 New Battle story. They got all the Beast Wars 2nd, Beast Wars Neo, Beast Wars Metal manga stories. They got the Q Transformer stuff. They got the Galaxy Force stuff, aka Cybertron in America. So they got quite a bit of content that could be pulled from. But you want to kind of have synergy too, because with these stories, you have essentially only, usually with these manga compilations, it's one creator. In this case, all of these 3 volumes previously were all the stories by Matsumi Kaneda and the art by Ban Megami across those 3 volumes, and multiple issues and story pages and stuff like that, all from the same creator. So when you look at the content that's available that can, let's say, be done, there's one guy named Shoji Amaki, and he did all the Beast Wars stuff. So even though G2 is there, the G2 story was like a one-shot story, and maybe it could be included too, just to have one, but it would kind of offset the theme of it. But I could see them kind of skipping G2, this one little one-shot story of G2 done by a completely different person, Tanaka-san. And you could go straight into the Shoji Amaki stuff, which is Beast Wars 2nd, which had a very different story than the animation series, the anime. Beast Wars Neo, same story, completely different origin story for Big Convoy in that one. And Beast Wars Metals, pretty much season 2, season 3 of Beast Wars. So you could kind of do 3 separate things there, or alternatively, depending on how many chapters there are, you could kind of pack them all into one. In the case of the Beast Wars 2nd, Beast Wars Neo, and Beast Wars Metal, if you took all of those together are 22 chapters. So to give perspective, the fattest of all the chapters of the G1 stuff was Volume 2 was 21 chapters. The Beast Wars stuff would be 22 chapters. So it could be done. You could kind of fit all of that, all of Beast Wars 2nd, all of Beast Wars Neo, and all of Beast Wars Metal into one book, and then maybe have a couple extra pages on the back, some story pages, color pages, schematic sketches, a little something extra. And that could be done for a pretty cool Volume 4. And then afterwards, the sky's the limit. Then you could do a miscellanea one. You could do the G2 one mixed with the Q Transformer stories, mixed with the Mystery of Convoy stuff, and maybe the Galaxy Force stuff. Unfortunately, there's not a lot you could really pull after that until you dive into other creators. Because then let's say, if you wanted to do the animated mangas that are out there, those animated mangas, they were done by Naoto-san. But the problem with those animated mangas is they're owned by a different distributor. So Viz would have to go to that distributor instead of Kodansha, and they'd have to license those ones instead. But if you stay within what they've done right now with Transformers, they could just do this Beast Wars one and we could get a Volume 4 out of it. And I'm pretty sure in this Beast era that we're living in right now, with number one, a Dino related Rescue Bots kind of series, with a Dino related, Beast related kind of Cyberverse series right now, with a Rise of the Beast movie coming, with a Kingdom flavored Beast related kind of Kingdom series, and of course the Netflix series right now. A lot of Beast Wars stuff going around that if they wanted to do this Volume 4 and they released it soon enough and timely, it would work out for the market. So that's what I would suggest for a Volume 4 if they did do one. Unfortunately, there's no mention of anything for a Volume 4 right now, but if they did, the material is there and it could probably be easily for them to pull it up and do it. So I would suggest, Volume 4, those Beast chapters, that would be some great stuff, but nothing on the plate right now, unfortunately, just by the way that they're doing things. But that's the way I would see it. And I think a lot of people would dig that too. After that, like I said, you got animated stuff, there's DVD exclusive material that existed during, like, let's say Armada or Micron Legend. So there's a lot of printed material. And let's get into even the e-hobby stuff, the Sakamoto mangas. There's a lot of stuff that could be done that I'm pretty sure if these sold well, if the Volumes 1, 2, and 3 sold very well, there would be more of an incentive to then do the Beast Wars stuff and see how that does. But that's just my take. I hope that kind of answers your question a little bit, Ivan. And again, if you want to be like Ivan and join the Transformers Slag podcast Patreon and get one of your questions answered here on the podcast, or you just want to help support the podcast and hang out in the Discord and just talk Transformers, that's also cool too. Again, patreon.com/Protoman, or check the pinned comment or the description below. And I hope to see you tomorrow because we have a Transformers Slag podcast live stream coming up Saturday night, main event.